Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bitcoin Curves YouTube page and podcast. My name is Aravind Shanmuganathan, and I am the founder of the research publication, The Bitcoin Curve. If you're stumbling across this video, there's a good chance that you're either on the YouTube page or you're listening to the first episode. And so I wanted to take this time to give you a bit of context as to the why behind this podcast and my journey to get to this point, because it paints the picture for what you can expect to see. If we rewind a couple of years ago, I was starting to go down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin. This is about the start of the pandemic. There was a lot of what I would call authoritative controls put in place in order to protect the public. And it never really sat right with me. That exploration as to why that didn't feel right led me to Bitcoin, which opened my eyes to quite a few things. For those of you who are Bitcoiners, you'll know that as you go down the rabbit hole, your eyes start to get opened. The veil that used to obscure your lens on how you viewed the world gets lifted and you see things in a new light. But the thing that was always a nagging feeling at the back of my mind was it didn't feel like Bitcoin was just a technology that we were adopting. It felt like there was something more. And in my exploration of this nagging feeling at the back of my mind, it led me to a conclusion that has now sparked the genesis of my research publication, The Bitcoin Curve. Because my thesis is that Bitcoin is not just a blockchain technology that's solving for money, but rather it's a technology tool that's solving for human behavior in money. And when I went down this rabbit hole, I realized that the power of Bitcoin wasn't technology, it was its fundamental principles. And there were things that we could learn about these fundamental principles and how technology was used to enact them that we could take and apply it to not just money, but many other industries around the world. Whether you think about it from the lens of education, healthcare, politics, engineering, you name your pillar of civilization and you can probably apply these principles. And so the research publication, The Bitcoin Curve, was formed. It is my creative and research outlet for pursuing the question of how to scale these principles beyond money. I've reached a point now in that journey where I've had 3 or so months of writing under my belt, and I've realized that if I want to bring this knowledge to a broad audience, I can't just rely on long-form written content, because that's just not the way that most people consume content and ideas these days. What we're seeing are things like this, podcasts where a host is talking directly to you, either in video format or audio format. And so I wanted to give my research that extra dimension. So not just the written word, but now in an audio and visual format. So one of the things you can expect from this podcast is an audio and visual representation or version of the research that I will be publishing on my Substack. But then there was another element here. In any kind of research, it can't just be a desktop-based exercise. You are going to have times where you have to talk to other people that are more knowledgeable than you in that space. And so instead of having these behind closed doors, what I hope to do with this podcast is to bring them on and debate ideas in the public square. This way you can see, as the audience, how my thinking is evolving. These conversations, I hope, are enlightening, show a very fair, reasoned, objective debate, but as well help show you the direction in which the research is going. So often when I will be posed with various obstacles in my research that I can't overcome just by looking at the literature, I will be reaching out to guests and having them on to get their perspectives on the problem and hopefully get me unstuck on my journey to understanding how to scale Bitcoin beyond money. So those are the 2 things that you can expect from this podcast. The first, the audio and visual version of my research, which will be long form. I'm hoping somewhere between the half hour to the hour mark. And the second is interviews with experts in their respective fields, where we have open dialogue and debate. And I hope what you get from this is being able to observe how a conversation moves, how it can help change a perspective, and how my thinking is changing in the face of trying to solve the problem of scaling Bitcoin beyond money. I think that's enough for now. So I hope you enjoy the podcast. I hope you enjoy the content. Please like and subscribe to either the YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to see the research before it hits this audio-visual format in podcast form, please subscribe to the Substack. All those details will be in the video below. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.